Hi everyone. Today on this episode, I'm so excited. We have got Jules, who is not your average personal trainer.
I love that. Thank you so much. Hello.
I'm so excited to have you on here today. I was actually reflecting on our live that we did, which I looked up was 44 weeks ago. Time literally flies.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love that chat.
Well, I put down some of the points because I also thought the same. I was like, we had such a good conversation, and people need to hear these kinds of things. Just before the call, literally 2 minutes ago, we were talking about how we've both cut our hair. Well, I've cut my hair off. You've always had short hair, and you were talking about how it's on brand for you to have short hair. And one of the things that I just love so much about you is you're so for doing things your way and like living life on your terms and basically just being authentic, which is so what I'm here for as well. I feel like everyone needs to be more of their authentic self, and that's how we're going to thrive.
100%. And I think I actually do think we a lot of us think we are being authentic, and then there are more layers that you just peel back and you're like, oh no, that's who I am. That's really like someone said to me recently, like, who are all the different people that you've had to become over the years? And I was like, I don't think I have. I think it's just always taken me back to the person I always was. But there was just all this like I was gonna say like dirt on top, but it's not, but like layers that have just been piled up.
It's
Um,
so true.
and it's
Yeah,
like
like
getting to the core of yourself.
yeah, how we need to do unlearning more than learning. It's like how can
That,
we remove the beliefs that people have put on us? Because a lot of the things are like safety as well. We're protecting ourselves for other stuff, which I think so interesting. We're talking about this when we're coming to talk about you as a personal trainer as well. But mind body connection is something that I've always been so fascinated by. And when I looked at like, weight and putting on weight in different areas, a lot of the time that can be connected to like safety and not feeling safe within our body. And we're actually putting a physical protection there. It's actually there to support us.
yeah, yeah. And it can tell you so much about your body. And I think I've scratched the surface. Like I would love to know more about how much impact it has on your body. Yeah, like that's probably, I was literally just saying to my mum, I'm good. I need to get like, I've got a list of books and I'm like, I'm just going to start reading them now. Like I'm ready to delve into it even further.
Yes, and life is this ongoing journey of learning more and more about the things we're interested in, but about ourselves too. And it's you may really made me giggle when you were like, it's uncovering the layers because it's so true. And I think for me, especially the last year, I've had so many more realizations and learned so much about me than I think I thought. Oh, you like you know so much about yourself. You've learned so much. You've been doing this personal development for years, which I have. But I think, my breakup was one of the things that supported me to learn even more about
Yeah.
myself. Like, oh, wow, like these things do trigger me. And I've just not experienced the triggers in a long time.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think that you end up not seeing it as personal development. Like it no longer becomes a thing to do, a thing on your list, or like it starts to just become curiosity constantly. Like, oh, I reacted this way. Oh, why did that bother me? Like that for me is a little bit addictive. Like I really love getting to that point in myself, but like also I notice my clients kind of come to this full circle moment and they just start to go, oh yeah, I noticed that for example, when I'm in the gym, one of my favorite things is if I've like given them something really heavy, and I can see them having this internal battle with themselves, and they're like, they want to say they can't do it, and then they kind of give themselves a pep talk and they try, and then sometimes they try and they're like, no, it's too much. No, I can do it. And I love watching it just play out because they are then tapping into that curiosity, like, no, I know I can. Like if I just give myself a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, and it's just getting to know yourself. Like I think we've externalized that like locus of control so much that we need to remember that we actually need to know our bodies better than anybody else.
Yes, and I love this curiosity. It makes it feel like kind of exciting and
Mm.
being playful with it. And I love, again, when you learn about yourself, thinking this is all interesting information, or learn about your clients or whatever. This is interesting information
Yeah.
that can support me. And also not trying to push away the things that feel negative or bad, because I know for a long time I tried to live in kind of toxic positivity and I tried to be happy with everything. And that
Mm.
is just not the reality. And we are not supposed to. We are here for the full range of emotions. And if we're trying to push away, like, oh, this feels hard or bad, or I don't want to feel like that, then it's not going to support us to like get through it or like
No,
yeah, it's going to get stuck in the body.
I love that you said that, because I literally, I must say, millions of times a day, it's just information. Like, to the
Yes.
point that I think, are people bored of hearing me say this? I'll say it in my classes, like, just notice how you feel today. It's just information. There's no need to go, oh, this aches and it must be from that, that, and that, and that. It's actually sometimes okay to just go, this aches. And I'm going to just like give it a bit of TLC, and that's fine.
Yes, I think we do often want to put meaning to everything, and it can be fun to do that. But
Yeah.
like, not everything has to mean anything, or you don't have to know reason why everything happens.
No, sometimes you just get the information and you just move with it. Like, a lot of people I work with, obviously, because they're coming in a fitness capacity, will go like, oh, well, I haven't been doing this, this, and this. I'm like, well, first of all, you're just telling yourself off. And you're starting that, all that's going to do is make you feel guilty. It's going to make you feel shame, and then nothing positive is going to come from that. So actually, you haven't exercised this week. That's just information. Your life's been busy. Literally chuck it in the fucking bucket. Let's just move on. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I absolutely love this. And this is why you're not the average personal trainer. I'd love to hear a little bit more. And I'm actually really excited because I don't know this. How did you get into personal training? What is your journey into this becoming your career?
Oh, I feel like it's been a long time coming. Right, I'm gonna start really early, but I'm gonna try and shorten it because I could literally say so much. As a kid, I loved moving my body. I was probably quite intuitive about it, but I would have considered myself in a bigger body. So I felt, as I kind of came into my teenage years, I felt quite uncomfortable, but I still loved exercise. So I've always had this like just deep love of moving and exercise. I remember going for my like a careers interview when I must have been like 14, 15. I remember sitting there with her and saying, like, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. I have no idea what that job looks like. Like, just tell, like, I just know what I want to do. And she gave me some really random things, but I was like, all I want to do is I want to help women, girls, be more active, like, and love it and enjoy it. And I could, because I loved it, but I could see my friends were kind of like, oh, PE, we don't want to do that. And I didn't understand it. So I was like, I want them to see how amazing it can feel. She sent me down two pathways, hospitality, which I was like, sorry, what? And then the other one was the degree I did, which was in sport development, which is essentially like community sport, building community sport. So I went to uni, I did all of that, and then I finished uni and was like, now I don't know what I want to do. I tried working in that for a few years and it was okay. But then it wasn't until like a few years down the line, I became a PE teacher. So again, I thought, I'm going down this route. I really want to encourage all the kids, all the kids. Like, I know that PE has a bit of a reputation for kind of just working with the elite. They want to win competitions. And I was like, no, I want everyone to be enjoying exercise, and I'm going to start with the kids. And I loved it, and I totally had that role in the schools I was in. The children that like hated PE, loved, like, they'd come to me for everything. It was adorable. I did lots of trampolining, and like my gymnastics sessions were like, floor is lava, like, let's just like get moving. Honestly, it was my favorite. And then when I had my son, I realized that there was a real gap in the market where there was just no support for women who were pregnant to keep moving their body. And there was definitely no support postpartum. There's loads now, but at the time, he's 8, there was nothing. So I kind of like ummed and ahed about this for a long time, and people were like, you should just do it. And I just didn't have the confidence. And then one day I just decided to sign up for a personal training course. And then it sort of snowballed, literally snowballed from there. I did that alongside teaching. Then I decided to do like prenatal, postnatal. I had people literally messaging me to work with me immediately because I was sharing my journey on social media. And then I ended up, one day I was like teaching and I was doing my PT, and I was like, it was just growing. So I just had to quit my teaching and go straight into this. And it's totally evolving.
I love it. I've literally got a massive smile on my face for anyone not watching on video. I'm grinning from ear to ear, and I've got like full body goosebumps, which for me is always just a sign of like, yes, like this is
Mm,
so good. Firstly, absolutely love that you knew what you wanted to do from such a young age. I know
yeah.
some people don't know, which is completely fine. And, you know, we are taught to kind of have to pick things so young. And we can only go with what we know at that moment in time and what our best options are. But I also think a lot of people know what they want to do so young, but they get put off doing it by other people. So, like by parents or by teachers or whoever else who suggests that that route's going to be hard or it's not logical or whatever else. And I love that you went with what felt right to you. And you're like, no, I know that I want to get into exercise and support people. And what our strengths are and what we love are two major things that can support us with knowing what we want to do for it doesn't even have to be for a career, but I feel like, yeah, we spend a lot of time doing work, so we might as well do work that we absolutely love.
100%. And like, I kind of forgot all of that. I forgot that I knew exactly what it was that I wanted to do. And I went into teaching, and I always had this like underlying feeling like of how I wanted to apply those in those roles. But yeah, it just feels like there's a bigger picture of something that I'm trying to create. But I guess there's always a bit of imposter in there going, like, realistically, are you going to be able to do this? But
sometimes we have to take the realistic stuff out because again, it blocks us. It's a limiting belief that stops us from doing the other stuff. And we know we're here to make big impact in the world. But I also do think that sometimes we have stepping stones to get to where we want to be. And yeah, it might not be like the dream job, firstly, for example, with you, with teaching, if that wasn't exactly where you wanted to end up. But we have to like learn and grow and take steps. And I was the same. I worked in recruitment for 4 years. That wasn't my dream job, but it's supported me to learn different skills, to get a visa in the country I wanted to work in. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And like, it took me a long time as a personal trainer to realize the skills that I had in teaching were so applicable. Like, the things that people would find really difficult, I was like, oh no, I find that side of things really easy, because I think people underestimate the skill set that teachers have it's like a little orchestra managing all these different things going on. I am actually now looking at going back into schools with what I do, but delivering it through, so like body positive message through like an exercise lens. And so that's kind of like my next little project that I'm working on. And I have to keep saying to myself, I am the person to do this because I have this skill set from being a PE teacher, and I have this skill set from being a personal trainer, and now I'm going to bring them together.
That has given me full body goosebumps as well, which I think is like a yes, you need to do that. For people who listen to this as well, because I know a lot of people who are listening to my podcast are potentially looking to discover their purpose, get back more into alignment, is thinking like, what impact do I want to create in the world? Like, what do I really want people to know? And it doesn't have to be you supporting them, but it's like, what is the change that you want to see in the world? And like, how can you impact that in whatever way it is? So you knew from a young age what you wanted to impact, and it's been a progression of what you want to do. But for other people out there, this is like a clue to what your purpose or what your dream job could be.
And I think it's hard to know that. Like, I could be like, oh yeah, I just knew, but not everybody does, like you said before. And I think it is difficult to go, do I have a purpose? What is that going to be? Because not everybody is going to make a big splash. I think some of us are supposed to have not less impact, still have a big impact, but maybe it's not so widespread. Like, you can have a big impact on individual people. And because I work with a lot of mums, and we have these conversations, and they're like, some of them are stay-at-home mums. And I'm like, but the impact that you're having on your children, and then the impact that they can have on the world, like, that's still massive. So, but you get to, instead of giving yourself over to that, you get to enjoy every single step of being here at the same time. Like, you get to fully embody your life to show them that they get to do that as well.
Exactly. And this just comes back to doing things your way and making impact in your way. Like, we are all here for different things, and we can have different purposes at different points in our life. For example, motherhood, there's going to be a big period of your life where, you know, your purpose is to be a mum. Not that you can't do other things or be other things as well, but that is like a large part of your life. And like you said, the ripple effect from that is huge, like literally bringing up the next generation of people. A lot of us are like undoing generational trauma, like within ourselves, but also like as they as people parent. I'm not a parent yet, but I
I
know that
remind
there's
people
so
of
much
this.
healing.
I remind people of this all the time because the conversations we have around how we respond to children, our children now, obviously we because of social media, we know so much more about the way that we communicate with them, the way that we let them be more intuitive in their lives completely, in everything. But it's often very, very different to the way that we were raised. And so the conversations I have, like, it's tiring. Like, that is exhausting. What you're actually doing is addressing like what comes up like you want to do, like you think you should do, versus what your gut's saying, and then you're having to unpick that and then execute it and not really know if we're doing the right thing. Like that's really, really difficult. So yeah, it's not underestimating it, I guess.
Yes. And then this other, I feel like, clue to live in your purpose in can be like looking at your timeline of the kind of biggest things that have happened in your life or the biggest challenges, because a lot of the time our challenges are portals for growth for ourselves, but also can support us in this. So you mentioned that it was when you had children or you're a boy and you were like, oh, okay, I've realized there's this gap in the market based on my experience. Like the world needs this. How can I provide it? And then I think, like, as we've shared already, the imposter syndrome and the limiting beliefs as well is one of the many things that can hold us back. But it's like, how can we move through that? So I guess I'd love to hear, how did you move through that and continue going for the things that you really wanted to go for?
Honestly, like the minute anyone says the big negative things that have happened to you, there's one part of my life where I probably like my self-esteem took an absolute battering. And I was quite a new teacher. Um, and I was observed teaching by the head teacher. Like it feels like nothing now, but at the time it was everything. Like there were a few different things happened when I was at this school. And basically she didn't rate me as a teacher. And at the time I was very much in my good girl era. So I needed that little pat on the head. I needed to be told I was doing well because I actually didn't really know, and she didn't. And also I applied for a job and I didn't even get an interview for it, and I was like absolutely floored. That was the first time I've never had, like, I'd got every job I'd ever gone for up until that point. And now I look back and I still like I got myself into that school every single day till the end of the year. I showed up and I could easily have not done that, but it just didn't even come into my head. And I look back and think I learned so much about myself during that time. I'm actually have to be really, really grateful to that experience. But it also still gives me like kind of like goosebumps. Like I'm glad it happened now, but it was horrific at the time. And then kind of coming into motherhood, like I found becoming a mum really quite difficult. It really shook my identity completely. And I think the positive, obviously that happened for a reason. Obviously, if I hadn't have had that, I wouldn't be doing what I am now, because exercise for me was a bit of a solace in there. And I learned so much about my body. Like I do a lot of pelvic floor conversations. And after I had Zeb, I was totally peeing myself every time I went for a run. So I then dived into learning more about that. That is where I kind of learned so much more about personal training and the whole body and a more holistic approach. And so it just like gradually takes you to where you're going to be, right? So I think it's just always about taking the next step. Or I always say, like, do the next three things. So even if it's like a really overwhelming day and you write down everything that you have to do, just do the next couple of things. Like, don't even worry about long term. I've never had a long term vision. I always find it changes. It scares me. It feels like too much of a commitment. But I always know, oh, I want to go there and then I want to go there and I want to go there. And then we'll see what happens.
Absolutely love that. I think we can put ourselves off of taking action if it feels like something too big or too
Yeah.
far away. And often we actually just don't know what's going to happen. We don't know exactly what we want. So we do just have to take the next step and then see what happens. And I think you have to have a level of trust for
Yeah, I
that,
was
that I
going to
think
say that.
people struggle with. And it's like, if I trusted that things were going to work out, what would I do? What would my next steps be?
And I think that's where I talk a lot about being quite intuitive about life. I'm intuitive in exercise, but really I'm just teaching people to tap in to themselves and trust themselves. And I do that obviously in the gym, but it's quite difficult, I think, if you don't trust yourself or you haven't got that, you don't really know what your intuition feels like. Like to me, it's a feeling. Like I
Mhm.
know that I can ask myself, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And I've tended, now I look back, I've always kind of followed the nudge. I think my parents taught me to just go with what I felt like I wanted to do. But I do think it's quite difficult if you're not in that headspace to like actually learn to tap in and trust yourself.
Intuition is one of my favorite topics.
Oh, love it.
It's just like a life and game changer. But I
Mm.
also think practicing kind of playing games and having fun with your intuition is a good way to start out. Like guessing what color someone's gonna be wearing before you see them. Or for example, trying to use it with when making small decisions that don't actually really matter. Like, what do I want to eat for dinner? This option or this option, and
Yeah.
see which one you feel drawn to, rather than doing it like am I going to have this job or this job, which feels like a lot
Yeah.
like bigger, you know, where there's lots of different consequences. It's like, how can I have fun playing or listening to it within the small pieces? And it's actually been my like monthly theme in my membership this month is intuition. And I always get in like an initiation again in something as I teach it.
Yes,
But I
100%. That always happens.
it always happens. It's like, oh, you know, I know you say that you're doing this stuff, but here's your test. You're just gonna have to do it a little bit more.
So true.
And I love it and I kind of expect it now. But this month, I've been noticing I know people are gonna say things before they say it.
Mm.
And for example, my friend said something yesterday. She was talking about a time frame. I knew she was going to say 2 years, and she said 2 years. And then I met a whole bunch of new women this weekend that I've never met before at a hen do. And I was asking them my favorite bunch of questions. And one of them was like, if you could swap lives with anyone for a day, who would it be? And I'd never met her before. Well, I'd met her one time. I didn't know this lady at all. So I couldn't even really guess.
Mm.
And I knew she was going to say my partner. And the words came out of her mouth. And I was just like, oh. And it's like we all receive our intuition in different ways. For me, it is like a knowing and a feeling. So I get physical sensations. I've shared a few times already on this phone call that I get goosebumps and I kind of get these feelings. Whereas other people see their like visualizations or they get like a little whisper or just have like a feeling.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this recently because I get a gut feeling. And
Hmm.
she asked me like how I even know. And I was like, well, sometimes if it is something I really don't know, I will like imagine that I'm holding it in my hand. So like option one is in this hand. And if I follow that, what does it look like? And what does it feel like? And then if option two is in this hand, what does it look like? And then just kind of sometimes I have to really sit there for quite a long time being like, which one feels like it's bringing something sticky up or which one feels like it's bringing some excitement up. And like, then that's the way to go. But it's interesting that to find out how other people interpret that.
It is. It is. And everyone sees and visualizes and feels things in a different way. And I'm actually someone who's always really struggled with visualization. So I felt like I found it quite hard to connect with my intuition at the start, especially because I was so logical that it surprises me how easy other people find it when they've never even tried before, because we are intuitive beings without even realizing. And I feel like this is a good cycle or like segment into talking about cyclical living, because many of us do intuitively, you know, rest more when we're on our period or just before, or eat different foods. And it's trusting that you're guided and led to these things on purpose, as well as I guess like intuition is feminine energy, and I absolutely love this. But then there's the masculine energy, which is more about the structures and the planning. And it's like, how can we use both to support us in life? And with the cyclical living, how can we plan around things? How can we plan things when we're feeling most energetic, or, you know, plan less social things, or plan our workouts around when we're in our luteal
Yeah.
phase and we're not feeling so good?
I actually think I like this conversation more than talking about intuition because for some, like if you're only just starting to even look at being intuitive or yeah, really it is looking at intuition, you're coming from a place of quite structure, like a lot of structure and rules, and it feels so far away from you, which is why I think the whole cycle syncing, like do this when you're in this phase and do this when you're in this phase. I think that's why it's become popular because for a lot of women, it's gone, oh, there's actually flexibility. Where
Mm-hmm.
actually it's not really flexibility, is it? It's still like another set of rules, but it's saying, oh, at different phases of your cycle, here's a different set of rules for you. And for some people, that's just a kind of like peek through the door. Like, oh, I don't have to do the same thing. I'm not a robot. And then I think once that's established, I always say with anything intuitive, whether it's exercise, food, literally every part of you, you're going from, a lot of people are coming from a very structured point over here. You've got to swing all the way over to the other side and be like, there's no rules, like literally no rule book. And then eventually you will find your personal place to settle in the middle. And I think the way I try to teach people, particularly through an exercise lens, is go completely rogue, like literally do anything. Say yes to go into all these different fitness classes, come to the gym with me, lift some heavy things, do some cardio, like figure out what it is you like. And then we talk about making a movement toolkit. So when you've got your toolkit, it looks like you wake up in the morning, you've set some time aside to move, you're giving yourself the freedom and the flexibility to go, what do I feel like? I literally did it yesterday. I was like, I got up really early. It would have been prime time to go for a run, but I was like, I actually don't want to go for a run today. So I just did some stretches. I did some like deep core breathing exercises, and that was plenty. And it's having the ability and I guess like the self-compassion to do it and not think like not know that there's a rule book saying, well, if it's not cardio and it's not sweaty and it's not an hour, then it doesn't count, because that's none of that is true. And then from there, I think you end up being able to see different points of your cycle. You obviously need different things. So then your toolkit starts to kind of come in, look certain ways at each phase of your cycle. And then again, bringing the more masculine element in. If you do have goals, if you do have focus, which you don't have to, but you can, and I've definitely swung back into that middle ground, then you can still have some structure, but the structure can still be quite free flowing with it. So like personally, and I do this with my clients, they have a goal of a weight they want to deadlift, for example. So we've got a structure, like every time I see them, they're going to be lifting this. I've got that planned out, but I will still ask them when they come in the gym, what do you feel like doing today? Do you feel like deadlifting? And if they're like, oh, my energy's quite low, we're like, well, we'll do it. We'll go through the motions, but we won't level up. We won't burn you out. We're going to just stay in this ground here. So it's bringing back some structure alongside some freedom and some flow. And I think that is what I do differently, because I don't think you get that with many personal trainers.
No, and I think that is the magic, is
Mm.
having the plan and the structure, but then being so connected with yourself, your
Yeah.
body, your intuition, your heart, your cycle, your mood, all of these pieces, not in an overwhelming way, but just in this like, I'm so connected to myself.
Yeah, it's
That
steps. I think like most people start with learning about their cycle. I think that's a
yeah.
good starting point. And if you don't have a cycle, I always just say, just ask yourself daily what you need and then try and meet that somewhere, because it's just learning that you are important and you get to dictate how you look after yourself every day.
Yeah, or connecting with the moon cycles. I feel
Yeah,
like some people
yeah.
who don't have physical cycles, they can kind of relate to how their energy feels at different phases of the moon. But yeah, I absolutely love the get rid of the rules and go rogue. I feel like that's going to be the title of this podcast. Go rogue. Do your own
Honestly, I was
thing.
such a good girl for my whole life. And I was chatting to someone last week and she was like, wow, you really don't care anymore, do you? And I was like, no, because honestly, I was a good girl and I don't feel like it benefited me. So like, here we are, do what I want now. It's fine.
I so resonate. I was always good girl, like teacher's pet, like felt like I had to do it everything right, didn't want to break the rules. I actually think it might be linked to, I don't know, a past life or something of feeling maybe
Mm.
I did something wrong
Oh, mate, we could have a
and I
whole
got told
conversation about
off.
that.
Because I learned that was one of my first realizations in my personal development journey, probably maybe 6 years ago, was that I don't like being told off. Like I
Yeah,
really don't like being told off. I would do anything to avoid being
yeah,
told off.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God, totally the same.
I did that by doing everything that you're supposed to do or everything that other people told you you should be doing, especially at work and in the workplace as well. And yeah, it really has been an unlearning of like, you don't have to do this. And actually, how can you do what's right for you and listen to your intuition? And you know what? Life is 100 times more fun and better than it
Definitely.
is now. And I'm so much more magnetic because people are drawn to me because I'm actually just being me and
Yeah.
not like being this person that I feel like other people want me to be. Yeah.
100%, honestly. And it's really difficult to articulate to people because, especially the people that I like, we probably work with, like they're kind of in the sticky part of it. Like one of the business coaches I had years ago, she always likened it to an elastic band, like that you've got to go through that tension before you can ping forward. And like we know because we've sat in the tension and got those ping forwards and it comes back, but it starts to feel not so uncomfortable because you just end up waiting for the forward momentum. But when you're in it, it can feel really sticky and really uncomfortable. But it's just knowing and trusting that it's going to be okay. And something so much better is on the other side of it.
Definitely. And again, small steps. How
Mm.
can you have small rebellious acts? Like it doesn't have to be wild. Like this is to the audience. What are the small ways that you can rebel against things that work for you? And yeah, I feel like I want to share as well. Because I was such a good girl, I really thought I was going to fit into like the norm and really follow that. I'm going to work a 9 to 5 job. I'm going to work my way up a corporate ladder. I'm going to get married, have kids, buy a house. And not that there's anything wrong with any of those things, because for some people that's exactly what you want. But I really felt like I was destined to follow all the rules that I felt like society and other people had put on me. And I really feel like if I can get out of that and do it, anyone else can.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I felt like I tried to do that, but it just wasn't working. And it was listening to my intuition that gave me the nudge to be like, you want to go traveling. And that was just like one small step that I didn't know what was going to happen after that, but that just led on to the next
Yeah.
step, like expanding the awareness of like what's possible, meeting other people who do things differently. And it really is like step by step and, year after year, these things do just happen.
It's just going back to that curiosity, isn't it? Like, what's next? I've like I said, I've never been able to have that like 5 year plan, and I've always found that very difficult. And even like I went to uni and I finished uni, and I was like, well, now what? Because I knew I was going, but I just had absolutely no idea what was next. Like I've always kind of gone, yeah, just keep eking closer to it. And then the project that I'm doing now, which is called the All Bodies Project, which is the stuff I'm going to take into schools. I've just had this vision in my head for such a long time, but it felt like it was literally the top of Everest, and I am like at the bottom of the ocean. Like I had no clue how I was going to get closer to it, but somehow it's just happened. And I think you've got to trust the timing of things as well, because I personally, like the last 6 to 12 months, I have changed as a person massively. And it partly down to things that I've done. Maybe it's an accumulation of all the experiences in life. I couldn't even tell you what like I've not done anything specifically on purpose for that to happen, but I feel a very different person and I feel like I'm ready to do the next thing. So rather than taking like big leaps, thinking that you should be taking the big leaps, it's okay to go, do you know what? This doesn't sit quite right now. That's okay.
Yes, absolutely love it. I would love to hear what would be your key recommendations for women, or what are like some of the common things that you really see with other people that you feel like needs to be spread wider.
I think, I don't know, I can go really like anti-patriarchal here. I think really focusing on like solid female connection, I think is a really good place to start, because we are maybe not so much anymore, but I feel like women are kind of pitted against each other without us even realizing it's happened. So actually that feeds into that comparison of looking at other people and they've got something you like, you think you want, but you don't know what you want. It feeds into how you feel about your own body. So I think really looking at connecting with other women and noticing when other women trigger you a little bit, and rather than being like, she's a bitch, figuring out what it is about that makes you, I don't know, it probably is reflecting something about yourself, isn't it? Right. So then how can you kind of tune into yourself a little bit more and figure out what you want as well?
How can I use this as interesting information to get to know myself more?
Yeah.
It is exactly that. Yeah, I also read on an oracle card the other day talking about jealousy, and we can again label jealousy as something negative, but it is actually just an emotion and it's a normal thing that happens. And there can be like a healthy amount of jealousy, but it's like if I'm jealous of someone, firstly accepting that that's how we feel, but how can I use that as inspiration that
Yeah.
they have something that I like or admire or would like, and how can I use that for something good?
Yeah.
But I also do love what you shared around connecting with women. It is so, so powerful to, yeah, support and uplift each other and be surrounded by people that, yeah, inspire you to grow and just feel seen and heard by other people and valued for like being the exact person that you are without needing to change anything.
Yeah, and I think it's for some people that's a really long road. Some of us are very, very far away from that point. But speaking from being, am I at that point? Yeah, I think I am, but things still come up. Um, I'm going on holiday next week, and like some body image stuff come up, and I was like, oh, I thought I'd dealt with all of that, but actually, it means that when it's coming up for my clients at the same time, I've got all of this experience that I can share with them. But yeah, like it's just so worth it. I have actually thought recently, this is a bit of a random question for you, but like some people clearly don't come to that point in their lives, and they just get older and they're kind of like switched off to what's going on around them, and they just keep going and going and going and going and going. Like I had thought like, but are they okay? Like, is there any negative outcome of that? Or is that okay to do that? Or do I need to be like spreading it more? Do more women need to be tuning into themselves? What's the impact if you don't do it? I don't know.
I think that we have the responsibility to create impact in our own way, but we can only do what is within our control.
Mm.
And yes, there may be that ways that we can spread our message wider, or we can create massive impact by like having conversations with people, but ultimately it's not our responsibility to change other people. And they have to want to do it themselves. And, yes, I think what we do ourselves can inspire other people, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. Sometimes different things will activate different people, but also if people don't learn their lessons or reach their full potential in this lifetime, yes, it kind of does can feel sad, but maybe they've learned the lessons they needed within this lifetime, is what
Yeah,
I feel. This
I
is
knew
what comes
you'd
to me.
articulate this really well. Like if I ever have something, I'm like, you always end up saying it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to kind of get to in my head. You're so right. And actually, that's exactly how, as a parent, as a teacher, and now as a personal trainer, that is how I work with people. I don't, literally what I was saying, there's no rule book. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm going to enable you to create that for yourself, because when you're internally motivated, that's when you want to do it. I guess you've got more skin in the game, haven't you? You've got more reason to keep going. Whereas when someone's saying, have you done your 5 workouts this week? To me, I'd be like, no, and.
And it's trusting in the divine timing, trusting in your intuition and where you're drawn to, and that you're going to meet the right people or receive the right words at the time that you're supposed to, or the pep talk.
Yeah.
And we can even have this on Instagram, like you'll see the right piece of content that you
Yeah.
needed at that moment. Um,
100%.
and I would say, because we've spoke about this connection with women, a really amazing way to do this, because I do have a lot of clients come to me and they're like, oh, I'd love to meet more like-minded people, or I'm struggling with friendships. And one way to meet aligned people is to go and do the things that you really want to do. So
Yeah.
if you're drawn to a fitness class or a personal trainer, I know you do, or you at least have in the past, like groups or retreats for mums or women in general. If you feel drawn to that, it's trusting it. And I'm the same. I hold women's retreats, I hold women's circles. And if you feel the draw to come to them, there's a reason for it. So listen to it and go.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who you're drawn to. It's just trusting like that's the person or the group of people. And it might be that you're drawn there because you're going to meet another woman who's going to be also sat there receiving at
Yeah.
that circle, and you're going to become best friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I think a lot of women I work with, because it's a lot of mums, we don't tend to put ourselves first. And that's a lot
Hmm.
of the work that we do as well around the exercise. And part of that is knowing, like you like saying, I want to go and do that thing, but there are too many barriers in the way. And it's up to us to minimize those barriers and actually go in and experience whatever we're feeling really drawn to. To me, that feels really special.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, I've absolutely loved this conversation. It has gone in a completely different direction to where I had assumed that it would go.
Sorry.
No, I don't. This is not something to apologize for at all, because I think this is just us really showing and practicing listening to our intuition and being drawn to
Mm.
where the conversation goes. And I believe this is exactly what we needed to speak about. But I'm actually going to share in the description the link to our live that we did last time, because I felt like we did also speak about loads of amazing things in that conversation, that if you've loved this conversation, you should definitely listen to that. We speak loads about mind-body connection, you know, cyclical living, doing things your way, but also we speak more about physical health and our body, and
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, I don't know if we spoke about eating, but we definitely spoke about how our bodies, how it looks is the least interesting thing about us, and more about body image. So if anyone's drawn to that, I'll share that below. But also, Jules, I'll share the link to your profile as well. But is there any kind of offerings or anything that you want to share about how people can work with you?
I've got quite a few little offers that are, because a lot of the work I do is with local people, so I'm working on growing that. But I've
Where
got,
are you?
I'm in Shropshire,
Okay.
like little rural Shropshire. It's very cute. So I have, again, I'm literally going on my intuition. I've created an 8-week program and I've got more opportunities to work with me online. And the 8-week program is something I have kind of shied away from a really long time, because I want it to look so different. I don't want to be seen as a personal trainer that does the same thing. And I think that is all that's out there. So I wanted it to be so different. So now I've landed on this. And then I've kind of half launched it and then gone, oh, but I'm going on holiday and I don't want to work while I'm on holiday. And then like, it just doesn't feel, because it was my birthday this week. So actually I've gone, do you know what? The good girl in me was like, no, I've said this, I must commit. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm going to pause it. So coming over the summer is called Big Bold Moves. And it's like an 8-week training program, which is about exercise, but it's about making exercise like the foundation for making you feel great every single day. I am so excited about it because it's bringing in cycles, it's bringing in that mind-body connection, it's bringing in the movement toolkit. It literally has all of it. It's exactly how I work with my clients, but just in a more condensed version. So yeah, that'll be coming over the summer. And then other than that, I'm focusing on my All Bodies project, which is taking positive body messages into schools of all ages. And actually, I want to spread that. I want that to be massive. So I'm going to start here, obviously, but I've set up an Instagram page for it. So please, please, please go give it a follow and share, because that I think that's my legacy.
Yes, love that. I'll share that in the caption as well. And I want to follow because I'm not there. I'm not following there. I also love that when we declare what we want, like you have just then, this opens up more opportunities to be able to receive, because there might be someone who listens to this that's like, oh, I know someone, I'm going to connect them with this person or whatnot.
Yeah.
I know Jules would be amazing to speak at this school, or different ideas. So yeah, absolutely love that. And the big bold moves, that gave me goosebumps. Shock.
Okay, that's good. No, I'm just going to start asking you things and be like, did that give you goosebumps?
Trust your own intuition. You don't need to receive mine.
I
But this
I'm
is
so
extra
excited
confirmation.
about it.
I'm excited about that, and it did give me goosebumps. I think because I love the holistic perspective as well. This is what I'm all about: is the small steps you make in one area of your life have a massive ripple effect to the rest of your life. Physical health is that. Like, the more you're looking after your body and your health, like, that is going to have massive flow on effects to, yeah, how much energy you have for other things, how much you go for what you want. And that's why I love that it was called like big bold moves, because it's going to inspire you to, yeah, I don't know, ask for the raise at work, or go
Yeah.
for the next job that you want, or start.
Glad you got it from that, because I was like, I haven't really sold it and explained it enough, because I've kind of gone, oh, actually, or like, I want to tweak this, but it's that, because I think you have to get the body stuff, the rules, they need to be out of your head. And once you have that clarity, you can do anything. Like, you can take big impact in your own life. You can have big impact in the world. Like, I know a lot of women who feel very overwhelmed by what goes on in the news, but I think as soon as you take back that like control for yourself, it's not quite so overwhelming. You feel like you can actually do things, and that's where I want people to go with it.
Yeah, so excited for what's to come. Also, just want to pipe in here with a last minute piece, is that I'm recording 4 podcast episodes this week, and this is because I'm on my ovulation phase. And
Yeah,
I'm
same.
buzzing that I'm listening to this, and I do stuff on my other phases, obviously, but I'm like, I can feel my energy now. I'm like bubbling. I'm like so
Yeah.
excited for everything. And I feel like this is the best time for me to do it. So just a reminder for people listening to, yeah, make use of the time when you feel
Yeah.
good and release the pressure when you are not feeling as good as well.
Yeah.
But amazing. I'm so excited for what's to come. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, love.